Located on the grounds of the Washington National Cathedral, the Virginia May Center is a 1929 neo-Gothic structure that once served as the College of Preachers. For nearly 80 years, the dormitories and educational spaces hosted students, but in 2008, the college closed. The structure sat vacant for over a decade.
When things of beauty are built, I think it's important to do what we can to protect that beauty. So I thought, rather than knock it down and start from scratch, you would never build anything as beautiful as we have now. So let's protect it, see what we can do to revive it.
You look at the cathedral closest smile over the city, it had a great big gap tooth, and it was the College of Preachers. To try to renovate it, restore it, and bring it back to having a meaningful place in the cathedral's mission seemed like a really daunting task that was insurmountable. But one of my colleagues and friends on the board, Virginia May Mars, absolutely had a vision for it. And we began to see her vision. We took an enormous step of faith, let's say, in saying that we could actually make this happen.
The complex floor plan of the building provided a challenge with small rooms and narrow hallways dispersed across 15 different levels.
Well, while the building was designed by the original architect to be very self-contained, it meant that it had 15 different levels. To make a building in today's world that has 15 different levels welcoming to all is a real challenge. So that was something we really had to work through. To mitigate all these different levels, we ended up having to integrate elevators and lifts in key locations to make sure that the building was fully navigable and fully barrier-free.
Adding 2 elevators to the building addressed the issue, one of which serves 3 floors with doors on 3 sides of the elevator. The site's steep grade added to the accessibility issues. Landscape design addressed the steeply sloped site by regrading the topography to provide ramp entrances as well as stormwater management.
For me personally, the preservation component of it was the most important part, so that we weren't doing anything that would either shorten the lifespan of the building or would make it difficult for the downstream usage to have to undo something that we did that unintentionally would cause damage.
The original Spartan dormitory bedrooms were converted to guest rooms with private baths, and 2-story loft suites were added to the narrow towers, maximizing the space.
It's always challenging when you start with a historic building like that that has such character to make sure that you are respecting that character, not only in restoring the historic spaces, but also with your new interventions. Even in the modern spaces, you still have that feel of what the building was like and the intent of that original architectural team about this Gothic space that encourages learning and dialogue.
The Virginia May Center now completes the picturesque grounds as a welcoming and unique gathering space restored for visitors to enjoy.
As we sit and look back 5 years later from when we began that whole project, the cathedral has actually, in a campaign that was started by this Virginia May Center, has now raised, I believe, over $180 million. Faith the size of a mustard seed that Virginia Mars had, actually, she was right. It's extraordinary. It's a miracle. The project has been a wonderful success, and the cathedral has this beautiful piece of architecture is now reborn for another century.